Check, check, check. What's up, folks? Back home from Sam Arcade. Kelsman in the chat in the background. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. And hopefully this will be not as scatterbrained as the other ones I've been doing. Wave at the camera, please. Yeah, so I'm back from Sam Arcade, and I'm gonna play really quick. Just go through the live demo of the version I have there. For people who are new to the stream, always got to do that first, and then I'll follow up on some stuff that happened at Sam Arcade afterwards. For any new people, so they could be familiar with the game. So this is a Kickstarter for a dual hand disaster tracker. It is a split-screen, single-player, twin-stick risk-em-up. You control both ships at the same time. You destroy enemies on the left to earn your points. On the right-hand side, you recover resources that are going to multiply those points. So let's go ahead and start this up here. I'm going to try and get to Tier 3 in a solid run and see how many points I can rack up on the way there. I want to try and show as much of the game as possible, and also show you guys some of the stuff that happens in Tier 3 for those of you who are not familiar with the game. I always thought that the Tier 3 thing was the most interesting thing in the whole game. Give me a sec, these batteries might be dead. Yeah. I'll just put it. Oh shit, wrong way. Sorry, give me a sec, guys. I always forget what computer I'm plugged into. Alright. Let's try and get to Tier 3, folks. Also, let me know how the volume is, if you guys think the volume on the game is too loud, or the mic, or whatever. So yeah, destroy the left, protect the girl. Move down to the center of the screen, initiate disaster's core. Once it's activated, get the hell out. You don't want to stay in there too long. So left-hand side, you kill your enemies. Remember, you do not take damage, so just stay in front of them, be aggressive. And on the right-hand side, you always want to be following the markers. So they're obviously letting you know where all these resources are at. I'm going to use a shortcut here, which I do tell some people about every once in a while. This is just to help speed up the process a little. So when you're on a resource, you can actually hold down A, you'll pick it up a lot quicker. That's some pro level shit. And basically what that does is it's gonna shorten your window of opportunity to earn your multiplied points. So it's up to you if you want to do that. You'll get your defenses and your upgrades a lot quicker, but you also lessen the chance of having your points on the left be multiplied. So right now, as far as my weapons and my defenses are on the right, my weapons are on the left. On the top left corner, you'll see that you have some icons. That's your repeater, your boost, your scatter shot, and your missiles. On the right hand side, you have your, from right to left, is your boost. I'm sorry, your BFP, your boost, the awareness engine, and then the danger sensor. So for example, right now I have the danger sensor. If I wanted to, I could hold down the right trigger. What that's going to do is pull the camera back, let you see a lot more of the layout, but at the same time it's still blurry. Whatever. It's still blurry, so you can't, it's not like 100%. Your hitbox is a lot harder to detect when you're like this, so you got to be really careful when you're in that mode. While I'm at it, I also wanted to let you guys know that I do have an announcement coming in on Friday. I think I'll be able to make the final 8 of 8 announcements. Whoa. So that's something to look forward to on Friday. What are you doing? Why? No one can see you back there.
Material retrieved.
I'll try. I don't want to talk too much because that way I can focus on the game. But also, I you know, there's some things I remember that I want to tell you guys as I'm playing. So I'll try to, and still try to get through the game and get some points racked up here. So one thing I noticed at Sam Arcade this weekend was there were a lot of people that would play the game, and it's always about patterns, right? So people always try to figure out some way to, or they think they've figured out some way to basically cheese the bonus system and stuff like that. So there are always people trying to you know, not level up certain weapons, or because when you get missiles, you basically, that means you have all your weapons on the left-hand side. So when that when that happens, when you have all your weapons on the left, that means you have all the enemies coming in, which makes it really hard to keep track of everything that's going on. So some people will only level up the repeater, and then they realize the hard way that that's not necessarily the greatest thing to do, because you still can't bring the enemies down as fast as you could as if you had them all fully powered up. But there was this one kid who basically played the game non-stop, and he would actually do this thing of so when you're on the resource, you get that window of the bonus, right? So he was basically using it the way he's the first person to do take advantage of this in this way. So you can move in and then, you know, bring this guy down a little. So my weapons are pretty powered up. I can't pull it off, but okay, let's see if I could time this one. Pull the missile. Yeah, so that didn't work. You can time the killing of the enemy with the window that you have, and he was pulling that off pretty badass. I can't even do it. I'm trying to focus on this here. Alright, well, let's go ahead and start up my shields because I'm already at that level. Let's see how far I can take this.
Repair successful.
Looking good. Gossamer gains.
Material retrieved.
Alright. Huh? I don't know. I don't know who that is. But watch. So I'll go ahead and start up my missiles. I mean my shields, because this is what I'm always telling people at these events when shit gets crazy. You gotta activate your shields so that you can bring in the chaos. So let's just start them up here. Also the jams kick in. So as long as you can keep chaining enemies. No! Oh, that was close. Okay. And keep your multiplier going on the left, you'll keep the chain going. And this is how you start racking up those points. Also, this means that a lot more material is going to spawn. So there's 3 material there on the left, on the right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take advantage of using my VFP to pick them all up at once. I got 3 there. I also kept my multiplier going. There's a bunch of parts. Woo! Also, this is a huge thing. So when you have your shields going and you're boosting through enemies, you don't take damage at all, like that, for example. Notice it says no damage. And that's meant so that you can stay aggressive and just get to every single resource you see on the map as soon as you can. But if you notice, yeah, everything's getting pretty intense. So what happened there is I blacked out entirely. I'll just bring it right back. So on the left-hand side, every time you move and you shoot, you're consuming your link in the center of the screen. You guys can't see it because the camera's there. Actually, let me move it out of the way. Hold on. Get you guys the full game there. Oh! Damn, that was close. All right, so Yeah, I on the left-hand side, whenever you move and you shoot, you're consuming your link. So what you do to bring that back, I'll show you here. I'll go under 20%. Notice the left screen's blacking out. All the material that I'm picking up, which is all this green stuff here, I'm basically banking up in the top right corner, top middle right corner. You'll see it says 15. So I just basically tap X, that brings that side back. I'm back at 100%, and now I just gotta manage it again. And every time I use my scatter shot, it uses 5%. If I use a missile, it uses 10%. So you gotta be really careful when you're down, when you're really low, you wanna make sure not to overuse it. At the same time, here, watch, I'll show you. So you can kind of keep shooting stuff. If you want to plan your shields, what you can do is, you know, if you're really low on link, activate your shields. Once you activate them, and that also relinks your ship. So now you know you're at 100%. This is where you can start going crazy. The voids in the background, when you shoot them with a missile, it automatically extends the multiplier. So that's definitely something you want to keep in mind. Because if you notice at the bottom left-hand side, that's where it shows my multiplier at 7 times. Every time I kill an enemy, you see that little circle that fills up, letting me know I've got 2 enemies down. I need 1 more to keep the multiplier chained. As long as you're killing enemies, it doesn't really matter too much. You don't have to focus on it. You really just got to look at the timer more than anything. Because at this rate, enemies are going to start spawning in at a fast pace anyway. So as long as you can keep up with that, you're good. So there are parts up here I haven't been picking up. The reason I want to keep picking up parts, even though I've got all my defenses, is notice at the top right-hand corner you'll see spare 1. Let's see, I'll have a 2 here. So these are spare parts. So that means what I can do is take advantage of the sacrifice of them. So for example, let's see here. Oh, fuck. So I lost my multiplier there. Lost my shields activated back up since I have enough enemies to keep going. Notice I boost into those guys, no damage. So it's, you know, it's kind of dangerous because if you time it wrong, I could do that and I still took damage because just like that. Fuck. Okay. So you can kind of mismanage your boost and let go at the wrong time. You'll be right in front of a fireball, and if you let go and you weren't boosting, then you basically, you know, wipe out, you die. So yeah, so this is the idea. Like if you become this kind of like brain dead mentality of going and dying, you're gonna lose everything. So if you notice it says you lost 2 million points, that's what I could have left with. So let's start it back up, and I'll try and go through it quicker here. I do want to try and make a complete run all the way to tier 3, so.
Repair successful.
Oh yeah, and also this is the PC version.
Repair successful. Material retrieved. Repair successful. Repair successful.
As a matter of fact, I only really need to make it to tier 2.
Material retrieved.
Because I can actually just show you guys with the debug commands, damn it,
Repair successful.
what the different EVA control types are.
Repair successful. Material retrieved. Material retrieved. Material retrieved. Repair successful.
Ugh.
Material retrieved.
Actually, let's go ahead and just get out here so I can show. So yeah, that's how you leave the level. You basically fill up your extract in the center of the screen. When it's ready, you just hold up on the D-pad and Y. You leave the level. So now I can go to Tier 2. Tier 2 will now let me wager my score towards the next score. So if I were to choose 25% and I died, my previous position on the leaderboard, which was 5,495, would now become 1374. If I choose 50%, it would stay at 50. If I did 100, and this is still not 100% final, just FYI. 100% will wipe my leaderboard position entirely. However, if I reach that score, I'm basically giving myself that bucket of points on top of whatever score I leave with. So, you know, there is a benefit to betting high. It just depends on how confident you are in your skills, I guess. Any questions from the chat or anything? Oh.
Repair successful. Repair successful.
So Tier 2 also has a new challenge and a new bonus associated with it. You guys will see when it pops up here.
Repair successful. Material retrieved. Repair successful.
Bless you.
Material retrieved.
Oh, so there it is. So those fireballs that are coming at me, as long as I keep them close, but keep them from hitting the DFR, I will, bless you. I can take advantage of what's called the kite bonus, and the kite bonus will multiply my score, my points by 2,000. So I can earn all the way up, well, from 20,000 points up to whatever bonus you have stacked on top of any other bonus. So yeah, you could get up to like 200 points, 200,000 points in one shot. You just really got to stay active.
Material retrieved.
Also, anytime you pick up material, that's what spawns the upgrade on the left-hand side. Anytime you kill a tracker, that's what spawns material on the right side.
Material retrieved. Material retrieved. Material retrieved. Material retrieved. Material retrieved. Material retrieved. Repair successful. Material retrieved.
So also, when I'm at events, people always ask, well, what should I focus on first? Should I do parts or should I do material? And honestly, I always say go for the parts because you need them for your resources and to leave, for your defenses and to leave the level with your score. And then if you see material on the way, prioritize that along the way though. So
Material retrieved.
there's a reason why material will only show up on your radar depending on how close you are to it.
Repair successful. Material retrieved. Material retrieved.
The more material you have, the higher your multiplier is.
Repair
So that's
successful.
always good. All right, let's go ahead and start this up now.
Material retrieved.
Ah, that was close. Damn it. Oh man. that's kind of where it gets tricky too, because you have the kite bonus on you, but you also want to just pick up all the material around you. That's where it gets really tough to make a decision on whether to get rid of the fireball or keep it there and just kind of slowly circle the material. It's also where you can take advantage of using the A button to pick stuff up quicker. Oh, damn it. It's also... Oh, fuck! Hap. It's National Cat Day. But you can't see my cat because the camera's too high. Alright, let me just restart the mission and I will show you guys the EVA control types real quick. Cool. Alright, so Tier 3 was originally supposed to be a like Twitch integration mode where people could actually watch you. For the people who were watching you play the game, they could hashtag commands into the chat and basically mess with your game. So for example, say someone voted, yeah, whatever the case was, let's see what's this one. I think this is going to be inversion on the left. So, you know, your chat wanted to mess with you. Oh, I always forget what keyboard I need to press. There we go. So now I'm inverted on the left. So my left is right, my right is left. But as long as I can survive it, I get a multiplier. Obviously, there's a bug there. It's supposed to multiply my score by randomized number from 1 to 1,000, and it's 0. Unless my luck was that bad and I got 0. But let's try 2. Whoa, god damn it, wrong computer. There you go. So yeah, on the right, now up is down, down is up, left is right, right is left. If I can pick up this material, I will get 5 times the material.
Material retrieved.
So instantly, my score becomes 50 there. Oh, oh! Ah! It's really hard to focus on that at the same time though. Let's do that again real quick. There's some audio cues missing there too, so that activating the disastrous cores isn't final yet.
Repair successful.
So that still needs to be worked on.
Repair successful.
Okay, so I left off on 2, let's do 3. So cross-side flips your screens. Your controls stay the same though, so you're still controlling the right side with the left side with the right. It always goes by real quick. I don't know why. Oh, god damn it. Yeah, huh. Okay, that might just be a bug, but let's go to 4. Yeah, the timing on that, you need to bring that down a little. So treasure troll's not that hardcore of one. Let's try here. Let's try 5. So death sentence is intense. Death sentence will actually bring you down to like 0.1 health, where 1 hit can take you out. So you got to tier 3, and you just got messed up. So give me a sec. This froze. There we go. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Razer Ripsaw is a piece of shit. Pretty much anything Razer. There it goes again. I wouldn't be surprised if it crashes the stream. Is it still going, Cal?
Yeah, but it's delayed.
Oh yeah. It still shows up over here. It keeps freezing. Piece of shit. Alright, let's go through the last ones. 5 was death sentence. Shit, give me the hardest one already. So these are all randomized in Tier 3. You'll be playing the game, and every time you pick up material or sacrifice material, that's what affects when these pop up. And as long as you survive it, you'll go back to whatever health you had beforehand. Let's see, 6. This is my favorite, which is picture-in-picture, just at least for the looks. It looks really cool to have the right side ship all full screen. And your left side is now in the center. Bottom right, sorry. Let's see what 9 was. Okay, yeah. So that was pretty much it in terms of that kind of stuff. But yeah, you don't get that until Tier 3 because by that point you're already going to be a little more familiar with basically controlling the ships and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much Tracker. And finalizing all that stuff is what I have left to do. So yeah, again, I just got back from Sam Arcade. I'll just give you guys a quick recap of all that kind of stuff. Sam Arcade was really cool. The Smithsonian Art Museum, I'd never been there before, so that was kind of cool to check out. But a lot of the games that were there, for example, the guys that were next to me, their studio name is The Sheep's Meow, which is kind of funny. If I remember correctly, they said they had a cat, right? Oh, can you see her? Yeah. Oh, no. I know. I was looking for that. There you go. You can barely see her, though, because she's not lit up.
Wait, pick her up and put her in there.
Oh, no, you can totally see her little head. I'm going to crush it. I'm going to crush it, pal.
Hey!
Yeah.
Look at your little friend.
She's just looking right up at me. I'm smashing your head, cat. Anyway, yeah, didn't they say they had a cat named the Sheep or something like that? Little Sheep?
I think you're making that up.
No, I'm pretty sure. Because that's why I asked him, like, why did they have a little cat? And he's like, yeah, he was called Sheep. That's why it's the Sheep's Meow. So anyway,
I don't know about that.
they're pretty cool. They have this game called Exposure. It's all about, like, camouflage. So it's kind of like a twin-stick shooter. Well, you don't... Yeah, no, you're not shooting anything, but you are just moving around through the canvas, and you're a single color, but you can switch between. From what I saw, it was basically just 2 different colors, and the enemies. It's kind of like Ikaruga, where you kind of have to switch colors to meet the enemies that are chasing you. So you can you don't take damage from the color that you are. So you kind of switch in between and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty rad. And they have boss battles, so that's always I'm always cool with boss battles. Let's see, what else? Oh, well, I made some quick notes. Nothing too hardcore. Let's see. Oh yeah, so at the beginning of what? So at the beginning of Sam Arcade, the first hour, I think, we had run out of power, or something was wrong with the power, so our whole middle section had no power for the first hour. It was kind of frustrating, but they resolved it pretty quick, and then the following day it kind of happened in the middle and then towards the end. So that, I don't know, it's really jarring because the power just cuts out, and then people are kind of there playing the game. And then, they have to leave because you have to tell them the power's out. And then people show up after them, and they just kind of pick up the controller wanting to play the game, and they can't. And you have to tell them the power's out. They just kind of sit there thinking they could do stuff, which is kind of, yeah, kind of sucks. But, so that's what caused the late delay on that stream that day. But if you guys want to go back and check it, there's some really cool reactions from some people kind of pushing their luck and dying at the last second. So that's always awesome. The one thing I also noticed from doing Sam Arcade more than most events for some reason, I noticed it massively at this one. is that being there, describing the game to people, not even so much in the sense of like, because they don't know what they're doing, but explaining it to them to the point where they kind of become more interested in it, because they already see, from what I've seen, they kind of get lured in because they see that it's two people playing, or one person playing two sides or whatever, and that sounds cool. But then when I actually get them to try it, because almost everybody is always, I don't know, for lack of a better word, like intimidated by it. Does that make sense, Cal?
Yeah.
Like they're kind of not even scared. It's just they see it and they're like, oh, I can't do that. Like almost everyone always like self-doubts themselves that they can't play the game. So I just kind of try to pull them in and tell them just give it a shot. And, you know, there are some people that really do, they really just can't handle it, and that's fine, that's cool. But for the most part, it's always that second run. Like, they almost always immediately die the first time, but it's that second time that gets them. If it doesn't get them the second time, that's kind of where they're just like, all right, yeah, this is just way too hard. And from that point forward is pretty much when they you kind of realize it, right?
Yeah.
But outside of that, what else? There were a lot of kids, and that was kind of cool, but like straight up kids. Like obviously I showed the game at Minecon, and that was younger people, but it wasn't necessarily kids. Like this was straight up kids. Like, man, how young would you say they were, Kel?
5.
Really? 5?
Enough.
Yeah. So there were really young kids there that would kind of pick it up, and it was really crazy because they would kind of come up, grab the controller, and, you know, I always just try to explain it to anybody anyway, and depending on how young or how, you know, how I see them look at the game, I kind of understand whether to kind of not over-explain it, but explain it in detail or just kind of like gloss over some stuff just so they kind of grasp it. And there are these two kids in particular where you kind of describe the game to them, and they acknowledge you, but only in like grunts, like and I'm like, I don't know if they're really getting it, but they actually kind of do, and that's actually really cool because you kind of like, while they're playing it and you turn around and like describe something to them, at first they're really like, their face is really I don't know if you even noticed this, Cal, but their face is kind of like aggressive, like I'm trying to figure out what's going on. But then after a while, like you look over and they kind of have like a smile on their face.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like when they kind of understand it and grasp it. And even if it's difficult, they still just kind of like smile. It's really, really cool.
Clicks.
Yeah, it clicks with them. But there was also this one kid who, and Kel gives me shit for this, but I think it's funny because I hate people that get easily offended. But anyway, there's this one little kid who's like super religious or something, I bet, or was brought up, as Kel says, like with morals. But in the when you die in the game, obviously it says what the fucko-vision, and it tells you what killed you, all that kind of crap. So this one kid comes up, he puts his hand in front of the screen and grabs a controller like with his other hand, basically like trying to push the button to not see it. I was like, come on, man. Come the fuck on.
Watch your language.
Shut up.
No.
So yeah, like whatever, man. It wasn't even just so much like, okay, I'm gonna put my hand over here and like block it and do that, whatever. So he actually played the game, which was cool. But then after, he died again, and his mom was like behind him, and if I remember correctly, his mom didn't give a fuck. Like she didn't care, did she?
She said it was okay. But
Yeah. But so that's what I thought was funny. He was the one telling his mom, you know, like, oh, did you see that? Like, well, look what it said or whatever. And then he tells me, he's all, you should change that for your game. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. And then he just ran away, and they bought him some funnel cake or something.
I'm shaking my head over here.
You ain't shaking shit. So, yeah, I mean, I can't, unless you can remember something else, Kel, that happened that was kind of cool. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, but like, you know, unless you guys really have questions about anything, just events like that are always super rad. You get to see how people react to the game. Like I've always said, you just see patterns. just like there was a Jeremy at PAX South, a Tyler at PAX East. Like the Tyler and Jeremy of Sam Arcade was this kid called Aiden. He basically like stuck there, played the game to the point where, and again, this is patterns all over the place, and these are the dudes I massively respect because they put all this time into the game when they could be doing something totally different. But yeah, this kid was like explaining the game to people so that I kind of could save my voice for the weekend, which was pretty cool. But you know, I still like came in and like talk about the game when I had to. But yeah, he and his dad were there, and his dad was talking about how they were supposed to go out to all the other museums in the area because when you're in Washington, D.C., like all of the museums are like super cheap, or they're free, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so you get to walk basically into any museum and check them out. And this is like the nation's capital, so they're like museums, you know, like this is like real shit. It's not like some bullshit ass fucking museum. And he spent all his time there playing the game. They actually took off because I think they were going to leave. They did their circle around checking out all the games, and then he told his dad, let's go play that game one more time. And that's when they came back, and from that point forward, they basically stayed there the rest of the day. And the dad was cool. His dad's name was Jake. He was pretty rad. We were just there talking about, you know, bands and stuff like that, so that was pretty cool. What else? Oh yeah, the very last day, well, after the event was done, Kaylin, who's one of the girls who put this show together, mentioned that there are like 20,000 people there for an event like that. That's pretty cool. Also, yeah, it was like Jared from, I can't remember the name of his studio actually. Huh? Jared what? Oh, he mentioned how like when the show started, how instantly like there were people there. Obviously for our row it sucked. Well, not for him because his game was on tablets. So he has this game where you kind of draw stuff. It instructs you to draw stuff, and he had this really cool like frame type monitor, or a monitor that looked like a frame. So like when people were drawing on his game and stuff, you could see it. You know, like if you were just walking through, you could see it on like another screen. You could see what people were drawing, and it was pretty rad. But he was saying how like instantly when it hit 11:30, like just people, there were just people there. I kind of didn't really notice just because I was a little frustrated that the power was off. So all I noticed were people coming up asking to play the game, and I had to tell them to go away. So that sucked. But what else? I think that's pretty much it that I can think of. It is the last 4 days of the Kickstarter, so I'll be trying to stream. Well, I'm actually going to stream every day. I'm going to work on some stuff tonight, and then I'll bring back the build tomorrow and show you guys what I've done. For the most part, it's kind of a lot of under the hood stuff that I'm always talking about, but some visual stuff that I know I caught. I have some notes that I made when I was there. Some bugs that I saw. I need to figure out a bug that keeps popping up whenever someone gets to tier 3 and leaves with a score. When you reset the game, it keeps that score, which should be easy. That's not that big a deal. The one I found at PAX East, actually, that Jared, Blake, and this guy Damien found, is that there's a bug in the game where you get to a certain point, and I think it's also a tier 3 thing, and you reset the game, and you still end up with 4 material, which is kind of weird. I don't know what the hell's up with that. Oh, but actually, I just caught this, so I'll show it. You can see on the TV monitor there, there's flickering on the left side on the water. I need to figure out what that is too. That might just be some like, wow, it's called Z fighting, I think, between 2 different layers, and that's what's causing them to flicker. One's trying to be on top of the other, and vice versa. So that kind of sucks. Gotta figure that out. What? No, that looks terrible. Look at that. Yeah, I'll figure that out. That shouldn't be, visual stuff usually isn't that hard. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's it, huh? No Q&A or questions or anything? You click the little Q&A because sometimes I miss questions in there too on the Kickstarter one. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I guess that's it. I'm gonna send out a mailing update today with some pictures and stuff from Sam Arcade, which Kel took. That's kind of cool when she goes with me. She gets to take all these really cool pictures, and this time she took some really cool ones. So yeah, there's some really cool pictures there. I'll post that up as an update, and then I'm gonna send an email out to press and media about the Switch announcement. I basically sent it to some a really closed list that I just kind of wanted to focus on for Nintendo, just because obviously it's Nintendo Switch. But I actually just got an email that I got access to a mailing list that has to do with the announcement on Friday, so I'm gonna take advantage of that right now and send out a mailing list to the actual Ask an Enemy Studios news and updates mailing list with the Switch announcement. Oh, hello. Yeah, so sorry about that. If you just got in right now, I just played some of the game, went over some of the news of Sam Arcade. Sarah, we'll see you, I guess, next year for PAX East. That'd be awesome. Mitsu, thank you, man. It means a lot, dude. Also, yeah, so, sorry, there is one more thing. When I was at Sam Arcade, I forgot, I had a controller that my brother made me that I was trying to show during a stream from the hotel room, but the internet sucked. So I will do that tomorrow. I'll show you guys the controller that he made and be a little more in detail about like kind of what doesn't work on it so well and what can be improved. But again, it's just a prototype. It was just something he put together for me like super last minute. But yeah, we'll go over some of that tomorrow, and I'll get some work done tonight. Come here, pal. Come here. Since it's National Cat Day, I'm going to put my cat up on the screen and then close out. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for watching. And let me get her up here. Ah! There's my cat. She's a fucking cat. She's a goddamn cat. Aren't cats the best? Put your hands there. You don't want to be on camera today, Tubbo? Alright. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Glass half full.